It's the 100th anniversary of Goodwill in Kentucky, and we see the sign on the door, and we have had luck at the first two. We're going to do another quickie video and see if we can find anything that's antique and vintage that we can resell for a profit, or just look at and say is really cool. And we're going to let this fella go on first. Okay, let's see what we've got here. We'll go in the kitchen aisle first, and right away a bunch of this Royal Courier knives, China and Blue Willow, sort of usual things, but they're vintage, so that's a start. SeaWorld, oh yes, well those will be vintage soon enough, I'm sure. And let's see what else we've got here. Oh, it's a over-the-air radio, so this is a commercial good. We don't have to talk nonstop until we can find something interesting to show you. This is actually kind of fun. This is US patent, but it's Great Britain. This is made in England by a rather small company named Crescent and Sons. But it's a Rhapsody pattern, and it's very pretty. It's very similar to Riviera by Homer Laughlin around the same time. This is right before the Second World War. I think if I could find a whole set of this pattern, I would probably be interested in it. All right, let's see what else we've got here. We are looking at little pitchers, usual baskets. Mugs look kind of like the regular thing. And, oh no, these are not old.
Plastic?
They are plastique.
Okay.
Yes. They just have a good color. Let's see what else. That's made in Vietnam, so that's pretty new. The books look really new. And it looks like it's been busy today, too, of course, you can imagine. Well, the shape is kind of not so interesting, but for $6, I have to say that the stripes are good. If it was something that had the other parts, but you know, by the time you add a harp for $10 and then a decent shade even at a thrift store is going to be $10 maybe, or maybe you have to go to Walmart or even get a custom shade, then all of a sudden, you know, there's just no money in them. Let's see, did we go down this aisle? Let's see what else there is. So old apple core, but not really, yeah, not really old though, because it's got that rubber clamp on sort of a base. That's an old punch bowl, but not really a pattern anyone's really interested in. These just have to have the red lettering on them for anyone to really care, unless they're jadeite or something like that. Oh yes, the classic Tupperware spinner. Those were in every 1970s kitchen. And let's see what else we've got. Nothing old in Christmas, no. And, oh, that looks kind of fun. It does, it isn't. It looks sort of 80s. And it looks very confusing. It's Rubik's Cubes-ish.
You're supposed to make it into a cube, I guess.
Oh, I like it better like this. It's modern sculpture. Yeah. We'll just leave it like that. So let's see what else we have here. We've got a few 70s pieces. Yeah, these are 1970s little bits. This piece here, well, let's see what it is.
Ooh.
It's got a big base. Yeah, you got to be careful on these because this is all taped together. This looks to me like it is American made, and it might be, it is McCoy. Yeah, that's what I thought. You can't really see it from where you're sitting, but it's got the McCoy, the square with the picture in it that was their 1970s era logo. Right. So that's kind of cool. It is not something I'm going to take though, because that is just a big old chunk of stuff. Oh, this is 1970s, and it's got the, definitely a good color, but you can see it's got phosphate buildup on it, so not really worth messing with. That's old, but same problem. This is faded, you know, none of this is really worth messing with, even though it's cute enough, even the little bed base. This is Victorian though. I mean, this is actually, yeah, it's nice to see something that really is old. This is enameling. It's a lot like Moriage on porcelain from Japan around the same time, but it's glass. So that's an interesting piece for the price. It's only $15. And I think these are kind of neat looking, actually. It's too bad there aren't cups for them. They're Italian. You can kind of tell right away, even without picking them up, from this abstract design. It looks like a lot of Italian painting of the mid-20th century of street scenes, but unfortunately not in good condition, so, and not a full set. That is not something common enough to be easy to match, so. Let's see what we have here. Well, this is supposed to be pretending to be Candlewick by Imperial, but it is seamed, and the seams on the edges tell you it's not theirs. It's a knockoff. It's probably by one of the glass companies, lesser glass companies of the time. Central Glass, maybe. I'm not really sure. It's not one with that condition, with the silvering worn. Wow, there's a big line that I would want to deal with. This one here is the electroplated silver overlay. So there is silver on here, but it's just sort of a trace amount to give you the design. $10. A friend of mine calls these sit and spins because they're like those things when you were a kid. And the funny thing is that, well, not funny is, as a reseller, you'll find them hard to sell because they are hard to stack. Now, this is similar to the little one with the orange girl that I found on it in Florida. This is Federal Glass with the star pattern on the bottom from the early 50s. $6 is not bad with the palm trees. If I was headed to Florida and it didn't have these little chips in here, I would probably pick it up. So again, you know, I haven't found anything yet that I need to take with me today, but it sure seems like the Goodwills in this part of the state are way better than the ones in the western part of the state, which I find very interesting. And you think, well, why is that? Well, it has a lot to do with regions and how they're managed, and whether they decide to take a lot of the older stuff out and put it on the national website because they're getting more money. I mean, they all have to do what they think is best for them. Some of it has to do with staffing. Some of it has to do with the area. This is Paris, Kentucky, and yes, we are in Paris as we speak, and it's so romantic. But the one thing about Paris, Kentucky, is that it is a wealthier area, and it's near Lexington, so they're going to get better donations. This looks like an attempt to look old, but not really old. This is old, but very worn. And then this is Party Girl Mad Libs. I don't think this is that old.
No, but I bet it's good.
Yeah, it might be.
I bet it's good, though.
Disco fever. After a couple of drinks, you make your review. Start by crying at the edge of the dance floor and mistily work your way over to the middle of the crowd.
What is... I don't know. It's older than you think, though.
It's 2005.
Older. It's just made to...
It's just made to look older. Yes. You think backwards would like it?
To do online.
Yes. Well, I guess we could do that. It came from Urban Outfitters. It can't be that old.
Yeah, but still.
All right, let's see what else there is. I am trying not to buy something everywhere we go, necessarily. Yeah, it'll be fun enough. Here's some shades. That's definitely of the era, $4.99, or it looks of the era. It's not, though, because it's got this attachment. And be careful with some older lamps. This new attachment where it drops in doesn't always fit over the hardware, so make sure you measure before you buy. Little pet steps. Yeah, these holders for these things are supposed to be starting to sell, and they're only $5 each, so there probably is money in that if you're willing to ship that. I'm not too interested, but I get the idea. An old brown typewriter, the Communicator too. Ooh, the Great Communicator. Must be a Reagan era thing. Definitely looks like about 1981 or two.
Yeah.
And it's by Sears. Not really by them. Somebody made it for them, of course. Yes, that's right. Yeah, something like that. And we can't see it. So I guess we've kind of seen most everything in this Goodwill, but there were a few fun things, and I guess we have to go stand in that huge long line to get this one thing. I'll let you stand in line. Okay, well, thanks a lot, everybody. It was fun, and enjoy more shorts as we get to them. I think we'll probably hit a few more stores like this soon.